Today I've got a channel first for you. I use 4 different services with CGC grading. First are a few legacy slabs I sent to have upgraded to the new label. Second are other slabs with different companies that I'm having crossover to CGC. Third is just a bulk submission. And 4, I sent a submission to try out the new relationship between JSA and CGC and get some autographs graded and authenticated. Now I realize in advance the PSA and SGC bros might not like this, but I use CGC grading for a lot of my PC cards. So stay tuned to see the preview. If you don't want to see the preview, I'll have chapters built in, you can just skip to the reveal. But first I'm going to go through exactly what I'm sending and why I choose to use CGC. And then towards the end of the video, we'll have a breakdown of what the cost was and how I see CGC fitting into the grading future. So with that out of the way, let's get into it.
Hey, how's it going, YouTube? It's Ian with Good Form Sports Cards back with another video. And today, in front of me here, we have 4 CGC submissions that I'm going to go through with you here. Now, they're my slab of choice for my personal collection. And I know I'm going to get mixed feelings about that from all of you, but to me, their slab is the best as far as like clarity, looks. I think they stack really good. The label is mid-range. I don't think it's the best. I personally like Beckett's label. To me, it's about getting my cards just all the same. When I put up like a run of cards, like a rainbow or a set or whatever, I like them to present well. I like them to look consistent. Because of that, I'm going to be doing a crossover here. So I'm taking some cards, PC cards that are in SGC and Beckett slabs. I'm going to cross them to CGC slabs. I have some old label CSG labels that I'm going to cross over to the new labels. And then in here, I have 2 grading submissions. One's just a bulk. The other is a economy grade plus testing out their JSA auto grading and authentication. So we'll go through those. It's a lot to cover here. I'm going to get through those. I haven't used CCG in a while, actually. It's probably been almost a year and a half. So I have their elite membership. When you sign up for that, you get $150 grading credit. So essentially their elite membership, you pay $300, but the membership's really only $150. And then you get, I believe it's 10% off of grading. So if like the grading fee's like $12, you save $1.20. And it's actually $10.80 or whatever it comes to. If you grade enough cards, that $150 pays for itself very quickly. I certainly do. I just haven't, when I said I haven't used them for like a year and a half, it doesn't mean that I lost my credits. It just means the last membership I had, I sent a bunch of cards in, used up my credit, kind of didn't use my membership the rest of the time. Now it renewed and I'm getting towards the end of this year's membership, so I got to use up these credits. And the reason I didn't use it is, to be honest, I was frustrated. And what I was frustrated with, their service is good, their turn time is good, their slabs look good, the customer service is good. They reach out to you periodically with like surveys to see how they're doing. They're very transparent. They like to hear from their customers. So I'm saying all good things. What frustrated me, how they changed their label so quickly after they changed their label again. To me, it was really mismanaged. As somebody that has gone through some rebranding in my day job and stuff, I've seen goods and bads in that too. For those of you that don't know, CGC before was CSG. I wish I had one of the old labels with me. I don't, but they had a green label that was to me, it didn't look good. I always thought it looked like a Walgreens label. It looked like here's your prescription, your 9.5 prescription. It just did not look good. In light, it had like a nice hologram logo where the CSG was. It wasn't god awful, but when you compared it to their competitors, it was bad. And it was bad when they had such a nice slab and really good service and good pricing. And it was like, man, like if you could just get that thing looking better, you'd be killing it. Well, they listened. They heard and they listened and they acted and they switched their label and they got a much more non-offensive. It was, black and white, very similar to SGC. It had some nice little gold tones in there and it still had the reflective logo and it looked good. And I was happy with that. So I took all my greens in and they had a period of time where it was like $5 to Reholder a card when they bring you upgraded the new label. So I sent in like a slew of cards, spent a bunch of money on this on cards that I had already graded with them, but I was fine with it. I'm like, you know what? I'm an anal collector. I want my stuff to look good. I'm going to do that. So I get them back. Everything's great for a while. And this is like a few months, maybe 6 tops. Then they have their rebranding, merger, whatever you want to call it, with internal company deal where they just say, we're not CSG anymore, we're CGC, we're this one big grading company. Okay, that's awesome. You guys are making moves. I'm cool with that. Now the label changes again. For those that had already paid for it, now I have to pay for it again. And these are PC cards I'm not particularly looking to make money on at all. Obviously, you're going to see I'm probably going to spend $1,000 in these 4 submissions. Hopefully Mrs. Goodform does not watch this video, but I'm not looking for mass profit on these. These are PC cards. They're going to be sitting around. I'm not going to be looking to return and get $2,000 back, at least not right away. That was really frustrating to me. I wish there was something where they had some kind of like, if this is your first time crossing the card, it's $5. If you've already reholdered before, as a courtesy, we'll do this. Like, they had to understand that there's going to be some expense in there, especially if you want to retain the loyal customers that you've had since the beginning. Unfortunately, it was like $5 for if you do it in the first 90 days. So then I had to like rush to do it. And then after that, I think it was like $10. I think I'd have to travel back in time to see what it was, but I believe the price went up. And then like people were like, bro, what the heck? And they kind of went back against that. And they're like, oh, we'll transfer the CSG holders for life for $5 or whatever it was. So they did respond well to that. They do pretty good at listening and coming to their senses, but expecting somebody to continue to pay just to have their labels, current in that short a time. I understand PSA has had label changes and to get them updated to the hologram and stuff, it's the same process. But this was like twice in a short window of time, in a period of time when grading is just super competitive and it doesn't take a lot to lose people. Thankfully, I'm pretty loyal as long as the service is good, and their service always has been good. That's really my only knock on them, is if they could have handled that better. I understand it would have been a huge loss to do that, but I mean, it's sometimes you got to spend money to make money. I think if you really want to show people you're serious about keeping them and still go through that brand change, that could have been handled better, rather than having people reholder their collectibles twice in a year. On to the submission. So first, I'll show you the crossovers. This is probably going to make a few people's heads explode because you're going to say you're completely ruining the value of this card by doing this. My answer to you is I don't care. If I was concerned about the value of the card, I would just go get these copies at a PSA 10. We all know that's the highest ROI. These are strictly going to my collection. I'll go over my thought process as I do it. Makai Becton, super low end card. I think I got this for like $4. SGC 10. Just going to cross it over to a CSG 10 or CGC 10. Sorry. I guess I'm still working on my relabel. I've had a really good luck with CGC's crossover service. They do a really good job. Very good at moving it linear, and they've done really good at moving back at 9.5s to 10s. So I did send these, if you're wondering why I'm not doing it with PSA, I did send a couple of the higher end cards here to PSA first, and PSA returned them as min size or not meeting their requirement for a 10. So I'm going to try to cross them with CGC. Here we have the Puckett 84 Fleer Update Rookie in a BGS 9.5. You can see almost a true gem, just the corners were a little bit round, and that's just honestly how that year is. They're never super sharp. Everybody knows what this card is. You see that number 1. We got a nice centered hologram. 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. Rookie in a BGS 9.5. Going to try to cross that over to a 10. Barry Bonds 87 Donruss. Super clean card, actually. The centering isn't perfect. You can see it's just a little thick on the left to the right, but very close. These cards are super hard to get in a Gem 10, but I think that should cross. And then the 87 Fleer. It's got a 9 for edges. This always has chipping up here. I've never seen a one that doesn't have at least some, but the rest of it's super clean. BGS 9.5. So I'm going to cross these to 10s. That's submission number 1. Submission number 2, we've got a couple old labels here. This Jalen Hurts, not particularly valuable, but it is to me because it's my first ever pristine. And this was actually a green label pristine where it had 10 on all subcategories. Crossed over to a CSG pristine. So I almost wanted to keep this because it was the perfect 10 from CSG. And you don't see a lot of these out there because it was such a short-lived time. But I just want to get it updated. I'm not really holding it for value. I'm sure that card maybe is worth 30 or 40 bucks in that condition. It's really about like, that's my first kind of black labelish type card that I've ever graded. So that one sticks with me. Brett Favre, this is a CSG 10 on the action pack. Really clean example here, good card. Just want this one in the current holder. And same with this one. Serena Williams rookie. This is the Net Pro. This card during the boom was like massive. It was like $200-300, but at least massive in relation to what it is now. This card now is probably $100. So, and then here for the larger orders, did I load that up backwards? Heck am I doing? Okay. So you can see we've got a whole assortment of cards. We'll go through the small one. These are the autos here. And so part of this submission is obviously I want to get my collectibles in the holders I want. So I'm not expecting all Gem 10s. But I did go through these and pre-grade them a little bit. And my reasoning is I know some that have some imperfections in some spots. And this is me kind of testing the temperature a little bit. I want to know, okay, what's current CGC going to do with these cards? How are they going to ding them? I want to know how certain cards grade and what they do with them. So when I'm running into things as I go along and I run into, let's say, a dimple on the back, I want to know who's going to be most lenient with that if that's the only imperfection I find. Is it going to be CGC? Is it going to be SGC? Is it going to be PSA? And that'll help me determine where I'm going to send cards to hopefully push the most 10s I can push given whatever I find on a particular card. So there's a lot of that in here, especially I got a lot of 2020 selects in here, and those are famous for the roller marks on the back. Some deeper, some very light. And I have a combination of both in some of these cards. So I really want to know, are they going to let some of the light ones go? Are they going to hammer on every single one? It remains to be seen. But I'm going to try out here is their JSA relationship. So those of you that don't know, CGC partnered with JSA for autograph authentication and grading. Before, CGC/CSG used to just grade autos, but they would only grade autos that were pack issued, so to speak, or authenticated by Panini, Upper Deck, whoever. If you got a card hand signed, they didn't grade it or authenticate it. Well, now they can. And the price is in line with PSA. I think PSA, if you go to grade like a lower value auto and get it authenticated and dual graded, it's like $35 or something like that. CGC with my discount, I think was like 28. I'll put some stuff up on the screen to let you know, but it's very much in line with that. So I want to see first what the new label looks like. I want to see how they grade and just like how the service works. So here I have some cards that I've been sitting on for a long time. They're not super high-end, but it's a Debrickashaw Ferguson, Rookies and Stars. I believe this one is numbered to 10. That one is pretty clean. This is a Debrickashaw Ferguson SPX. There's some foil loss in the corner. If I get up closer, you'll really be able to see it. You can already see the whitening there under magnification. It's dreadful. Got two green Heritage Oscar autographs here. These are numbered to 99. I already have a couple of these graded already. I'm really just looking to get the best example in my possession, and then whatever else is lower grade, I'll probably try to just recover some money. Same here, two of the blue autos. These are numbered to 25. You can barely see the auto, and I don't expect them to grade a 10 because there's just like a little swipe, so it's not really dark, but she doesn't really go off the card, it doesn't seem. It seems like it kind of stops, so got a shot at a 10, but I doubt it will. Here's an optic auto. Not ideal on the centering because it's very thick over here. The only reason I sent it is because it's numbered to 5. So what are you going to do? There's only going to be so many you can send in. So this may be the only one I see. Mekhi Becton, High Jets draft pick. I'm looking to just complete the rainbow on a lot of his rookie cards. I collect them. They're low end. And surprisingly, these autos aren't cheap, though. Got the blue. I think this is numbered to 60. Got the red, numbered to 50. Well, that actually one, the other one was a purple, actually. This is the blue. Numbered to 60. Then we have two of the golds, numbered to 10. So most of those are pretty clean. I don't expect any 10s on the cards, to be honest with you. I may sneak one out, but they all had their centering issues, and almost all of them had something going on, and that's okay. I'm really just looking to get the highest graded rainbow I can. This here is going to be mostly Mekhi Becton's in the back, but there are some different cards. So this is a little bit of a learning experience for me here to see what they do. So we got some Oscar NXT rookie cards. I had like 6 of these. I'm sending the 3 best ones and just going to keep the best best graded one in my collection. We got a Rookies and Stars Nick Mangold Gold. I think this is numbered to 25. Yeah. Nick Mangold Hollow Foil. These are Rookies. I think this one is numbered to 10, if I remember right. Oh, 25. Flair Field Level. This one was numbered to 99, I think. Yeah. Charles Oakley Limited Legend. I think this was numbered to 35. DeBrickashaw Ferguson Rookie. This is the Elite Status. I believe this was numbered to like 24. There we go. 24. You can kind of see it down there. Yuka Sakazaki. This is the current AEW / Joshi Pro / New Japan. She kind of wrestles everywhere. We enjoy the magical girl here, so gonna get the Japanese card graded. Leaf Limited Mirror Blue DeBrickashaw Ferguson. This one's numbered to 50. A couple copies of this one, but the other one I knew was just far. This one was far superior to that one. I didn't even want to send in the other one and see what happened. I'm sure it was a 8.5 or worse, just a waste of time and money. So Timeless Tributes, DeBrickashaw Ferguson Gold. I think this was numbered to 25. So you can see there are a lot of like low numbered cards of players that don't hold a lot of hobby value, but they're rare cards to me and they're pretty clean, most of them. So I'm really just looking to slab them up, get them in their collection, and then whatever Mekhi Bectons I have in here that sneak out of 10 perhaps, I know as I'm building the rainbow, I don't got to touch those anymore. Even the 9.5s, I might just leave those alone for a while and kind of chip away at the cards I need and the cards that are low grade. And then as I'm down to like strictly 9.5s and 10s, I might try to slowly improve. I get the luxury of doing that because his cards are so cheap. I can trial and error my way through them. We got a Nick Mangold. This is a patch card. Tape is from me. It's actually, I tape along the back of the penny sleeve, so when they unfold, they can just kind of slide this tab and the card comes right out. Try to make it a little easier instead of messing around with those top loaders. Got an Asuka Topps Rookie. This is once she was called up to the main roster. So the other one was her NXT Rookie. This one is her main roster one, but this is the bronze parallel numbered to 99. Here's a Clyde Drexler. This one is going to go in my Team USA set. So I have the 91 Skybox cards. So that's all the Olympians, the 3 cards that spell out Barcelona, if you know what I'm talking about, and then all the coaches. I have all those on CGC 10s. This is the mail-in redemption Drexler that is pretty expensive. I mean, raw, it's about $100. In a PSA 9, it's probably 600 plus. I bought this raw. It looked good. I thought it would get like an 8, maybe a 9. Came back PSA 7. So I cracked it out and I'm going to send it here. I need it in a CGC label anyways to fit with the rest of my collection. So what I was doing is sending it to PSA, and then if it somehow got a 10. So here I'm going to go through some parallels of Mekhi Becton. We've got the Optic Hollow, got the blue Scope, purple Shock, the Aqua or light blue Prism. This is the Donruss jersey number press proof. I think this is numbered to 73, which is number changed to 77 after a while. The Optic Preview Gold. This is numbered to 10. The Optic Regular Issue Gold. And this one has a little dimple on the white up here. You're not going to be able to see it, but I know it's there. And I want to see how they grade that one. So this is the Silver Sparkle Prism. We got 2 lime greens. Now we're going to get into the run of selects. There's a lot of them. So get these kind of out of here. Some of these will gem, I'm certain of that. One thing I will say as going through these selects, I was surprised at how much less roller marks there were on the retail parallels versus the hobby. Like, you'd think the hobby packs would be like better quality controlled, but dang, were some of those, they had really bad roller marks and scratches on the back. And like there's a ton that didn't make this submission. Like, I had a lot of duplicates and I'm going through like, maybe I have like 3 or 4 purples. I'm going to send like my 2 best ones. And some of these, I don't know what was going on, but holy smokes. We got the purple die cut. Send it in 2 of those. The red die cut. The blue prism. The white. Excuse me. Light blue. The blue. The tricolor die cut. The lime green die cut. The maroon die cut. 2 of the zebras. I had another zebra, but the centering was atrocious. The base silver. the silver disco, couple of tricolors. So these blues, all right. I'm sending all of them, and this is the sad part about a PC is like, I don't know which one of these ones is going to grade better. They all have the same problem. I'll see if I can get it to show. It sucks because I got like this flap folded, but it's in the same spot. They're all like a line right here, like just touches the edge of this football. And it's like, it doesn't always show, but like my light would be over here to my right, and I would like kind of angle like this and I couldn't see it. And then as soon as I went side to side, I could see it. So it really matters. How does the grader look at that? It's something that it doesn't affect the surface. When you're tilting it, you can see the shine, and you don't ever see like a line or like a scratch, and it's not like a divot, but there's just something there, something ever so faint that you can see it. And I just don't know if they're going to penalize that, or maybe they won't even see it. I mean, I was sitting here tilting every card at multiple angles. I'd get it to pop for a second, and then I like couldn't see it, and I'd have to like move in my chair, and then under like the right circumstances, I could see faint marks in a lot of these. And I'm hoping that it's just me being like crazy about evaluating my cards and that a lot of these will push through. But we got a light blue, 2 purples, 2 lime greens, the red disco, the blue disco. This was actually the cosmic parallel. I had to try to find out what this was. I was like looking on Cardboard Connection, everything. I'm like, what is that thing? Because I couldn't find it. It's non-numbered, but it's SSP, pretty rare. So hopefully that cosmic comes back in a good grade, because I don't want to have to search for more to try to get a 10. Got a couple of dragon scales. Actually, that was a tie-dye, excuse me. Okay, dragon scale. This is the cosmic. This is the one I couldn't figure out. Non-numbered. Hopefully I don't have to find another one of those. The gold disco, and check out these bad boys. 2 of the 5 greens numbered to 5. So hopefully we gem these up with it. That's cool having just 2 out of the 5 anyway. That's going to be, if there's any other Becton collector out there, they're probably really pissed off. And of course the 1 of 1 black. So definitely want to get that one slabbed up. Grade really doesn't matter. There is only one, but we'd love to see it in a good grade. We've got the optic blue. And then here, if you've tuned into some of my other videos, if you see me starting to pile up these Sinisa Lee stickers. So here's the base stickers. I got 4 of them and 2 of the foil stickers, which round out the submission. So we're going to send those in, get them graded. With the Sunisas, I'm going to take the best foil and the best regular sticker grade, and I'm going to put those next to each other in like a display sort of part of the collection. And then for the ones that don't grade well, I'm just going to keep them to the side. I may sell them, or I may just wait for like an autograph signing and crack them and see if I can't get some signed. I think it would be really cool to, resubmit them and have those signed ones next to the high grade ones or something like that. That right there is the 4 submissions. So we've got the autos to test out JSA, see how that works, see how those new labels look. Get some of the cards I need for my rainbow. We've got the crossover BGS and 1 SGC. We're going to try to get in CGC 10s. And then the label crossovers. So we've got 4 orders sending at once.
A few moments later.
And we are back. You can see we got the 4 submissions here, or maybe you can't see all of them, but I'll try to get into the screen here. So we've got the crossovers, the reholders, the autos, and the bulk, which I assume is this big box here. Back from CGC. So we'll go through the goods and the bads, and I'll post some data first in regards to how much this cost me. So I'll get that up while I'm talking. Really the only downside is, even though I shipped 4 submissions in together, which saved on shipping, they finished at different times and came back separately. So there's a shipping charge for this, 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 and this. And none of it's cheap. So it does suck paying priority mail on a little 3-card thing, and your postage comes out to whatever it is, $5 a card or something like that. But this is all PC stuff, so this isn't something I'm really looking to get a return on anytime soon. Again, you saw in the preview, it's just me looking to bring some of my collection current,
get a lot of the stuff I had laying around kind of centralized and finished, get a little bit more completion in regards to some of the rainbows I'm working on, and then update my list, like what do I need now? So the last thing I'll get into here before we open up the boxes is you can see this bulk package over here looks like it really went through the ringers, and it actually, when I picked it up, was a little damp. Now, I know from experience there inside this is another box with slabs and whatnot, so I'm hoping that there's enough packaging and stuff where the liquid didn't get through. I'm hoping that I don't open this up and have a bunch of fogged up slabs or something. It would be terrible. I have no idea what the USPS did with this. We haven't had any bad storms where I live in Minnesota. I had another package that showed up in my house the same way. All my grading submissions go to my P.O. box. So this thing should have just went from like truck to post office to the box. I have no idea why it looks like it took a bath, but let's hope for the best here. I guess you'll find out as soon as I do. The timelines in regards to the submissions. So I sent them off in March, roughly about March 15th, I believe. They were all received on the 18th of March at CGC. The first order to finish was the Reholder. That was done and shipped back, or is marked shipped on 3/27. So it would be about a 10-day turnaround, 9-10 day calendar days it is. After that, about a week later, was the crossovers. It was shipped on the 4th. The third submission was the auto submission. That was about a week later. That one shipped on April 10th. The bulk shipped on April 22nd, and I picked Friday, April 25th. So it was about a 5 calendar week turnaround. Not terrible for everything. I mean, given how the grading industry in general is backed up. I'm gonna rip open these boxes here real quick, kind of fast forward to. Okay, we got it all unboxed here. They packaged them pretty dang well. We're gonna start off with the bulk submission here and the water damage box. So most of the damage seems to have gotten here. You can see this is the box that was inside of the box. I kind of felt around as I was unboxing it, and I didn't really feel like it was damp. I kind of stuck my finger down here to see if I could feel anything in the cardboard dividers. I think we're okay. It didn't look like it was soaked, but I do feel like the cardboard got a little damp, but I don't think it was so bad. There's no splitting in the cardboard, so I don't think it reached the slabs. We'll find out if there's any water fog. I hope not, but I'm going to start off with one of the Mackay Becton die cuts, and the purple got a 9. Nice shine on that there. Lime green got a 9.5, so that's good. And the other lime green got a 9.5. So we'll just jump right into that one. The silver circles got a 9.5. Another Mackay Becton. This looks like a gold number to 10. That one got a 9. I believe I've got like 4 or 5 of those golds. Not in the submission, but just in total. Here is a gold preview and an 8.5. No 10s yet. Here's another Mackay Becton. Don't see a serial number on that one.
All right. This is a discussion, but all right. Not one of my prouder moments.
7.5. That's nasty. Gonna waste a lot of time on that card, but here's the optic. There we go. The Aqua got a 10. First 10 of the submission. So that's a Mackay Becton I'll never have to deal with again. We got the Aqua and a 10. That part is checked off for life. And the Purple Shock also got a 10. Now we're hitting a few. This is just the blue scope. The 9. And the hollow. Oh man, only a 9 on that. Geez, I went through a lot of hollows, and that was like the cleanest one I had. So, here's the Drexler. So as you just saw in the preview, this is a Crackout PSA 7. I bought it raw, looked really clean, looked pretty centered. I thought when I sent it in, it was like a strong 8, weak 9. When I sent the PSA, it came back a 7. And if you watch some of my other CSG reveals, this was in the same PSA reveal that my 91 Elites were in, that were like just grossly undergraded, undergraded. Expect this to bump up to at least an 8. Card's clean, corners are nice and sharp. There's just nothing wrong with it. I don't know. and it got the grade it deserves. So I got the 9, and that's a pretty big bump. Card in a PSA 7 is about $100, $110, and a PSA 9 is about $600. So in a CGC 9, it's probably a little less, but like adding that 9 gives it a huge premium. That is definitely going to go into my Olympic set. Here's the Oscar bronze. This is in parallel to 99, and that got a 9. Brickashaw Ferguson, number to 25. I believe this was the Timeless Tributes. That one also got a 9. So far these cards that were near the water damage look good. This is a thick Nick Mangold patch card. This definitely will not grade well. I already know that. Like it wasn't a lot of like miscoloring. It just was not in good shape overall. And that, I don't know if it was that bad, but it's just one I was just looking to preserve. You don't see a lot of Nick Mangold patch cards out there. The Brickashaw Ferguson, number to 50. I believe this was the blue, mirror blue, 285. And this is a Yuka Sakazaki BBM magazine card from Japan. This card should grade really well. It's clean. And that is our third 10. So I knew I'd bring a few 10s. It's nice to see them. This is the die cut Brickashaw Ferguson Status. And that got an 8. Does not shock me one bit. Charles Oakley. This was the Panini Certified or Limited. I don't even remember what it was, but it's the silver to 49. Silver Spotlight. There we go. That one actually got a 9. Wow, that card I bought off of eBay a long time ago. I try to get as much of the Oakley cards in the Knicks uniform as I can. So here's a Brickashaw Ferguson field level rookies. I believe this was this the Flair? The Fleer Flare? It is, and it is 2 and 9. So finally a Flair card I didn't completely butcher. Nick Mangold here. This I believe is the Leaf Longevity Gold. Sorry, Silver Spotlight to an 8.5. There is a gold in here also numbered to 25. Must be this guy. And you can tell by the gold foil. Slight difference there. And a matching 8.5. Would have liked that one a little better grade. That's a good looking card. So here's the Oscar NXT rookie. I believe I sent 3 of these. I was hoping to get at least 110. Admittedly, I don't expect it if they're grading really harsh. The corners on the back just weren't ideal. It's probably 9s and 9.5s would be my guess. 9.5 on the first. I wouldn't be shocked if the other 2 are exactly the same. Here's a 9. Okay. Shouldn't be complaining about the 9.5s. I would have took it there. So here is the last one. And a second 9.5. Well, not bad. Got about what I would expect. It looks like, I wouldn't say we had like a tough grader, but it's very tight. I can see like these are probably right about what I deserve, which is, I'm not going to complain about it. It's just, I'm not only going to get any freebies here either. Here's another Mekhi Becton Select Parallel to 49. And that is at a 9.5. So I'll take all the 9.5s and 10s and those I can get. These selects are tough. And here's the same red in a 10. So here's the lime green in a 9.5. That's pretty nice. I believe this is the second lime green in a 9. So that's good. Like the 9.5s and the 10s here for the Becton Rainbow. Here is the purple. Purple got a 9. I think I sent 2 or 3 of the purples. Here's the second purple, also a 9. Ooh, there's a light blue and a 10, like that. Evidently not. Okay, so I want to set this here. Now in the preview, this is where I had 3 of these blues that had marks on the back, and I was curious how they would grade them. So see, this one got a 7.5. The other one got a 10. Let's see if this is the last one. This one got a 9.5. So the 7.5 must have been the worst of the worst. I'll see if I can get this to show. I can see it off camera, but I just can't get it to, see if I can get the light to reflect just right there. Okay, there you go. You see just above that reflection, there's like just ever so slightly, you can see right along, like it's left to right on the video, it goes right by the tip of the football and the Jets logo. You can see there's, as I move this, a couple lines there. This was the worst of it at a 7.5, so you can tell they're very slight, but each one of these had it to some degree, and I was just curious about, like, it seems like they'll let a very faint one go, but where there's multiples like that, where you can even see it through the slab, they're not going to push that. A 7.5 is probably deserving, and they're pretty bad. I was willing to pay the $8 to trial run that card to see. So here's the tricolor in a 10. So it's basically, this is somewhat of an experiment for me along the way. Another tricolor in a 10, so that's nice. One we can sell off. I don't think it's gonna have a lot of value, but both the tricolors got a 10. The disco with an 8, ugh, yikes. The silver with a 9.5, that was a surprisingly tough one. Those have a lot of dimples in it, those premier level silvers. I went through a few of them, and this card's gonna be tough to 10. First zebra got a 9.5. It's gonna be another card that's tough to 10. The die cut zebra. Yep. And there's one I didn't send that had really bad centering. Another die cut here. This is the maroon with a 10. Any of those die cuts that get a 10, those crummy retail die cuts, I'm happy with that. The lime green die cut, 9.5. Tricolor at a 9. The blue and a 9.5. The white die cut in a 10. There we go. That's nice. I think I only sent one of them too, so I was one and done on the whites. Another blue on a 9.5, or excuse me, light blue, which I think, did the first light blue 10? Okay, maybe, I think the light blue hobby, the non-die cut 10, I think. The other maroon got a 9. So one maroon got a 10, one got a 9. And another maroon 10. Or is it a red and a maroon? Maroon and the red. So they're slightly different, but both got a 10. And the last one of the big box is a 9.5 purple. We're just gonna keep on rocking and rolling here and keep this video as short as we can. I don't think anybody wants to spend too much time on Mekhi Becton select cards. So here's one of the cards I snuck in. If you saw the little message between the preview and this, I had a couple cards that I snuck in from mail days after I recorded the preview. This is an Ernie Johnson, number to 25, and that is in a 9.5. Here's a George Washington, had a piece of a relic on it. I got a 9, that's pretty cool. That was just a PC card. Oh, you know what that is? That is not burnt or water damage. This is a pristine on the Curtis Joseph press pass. So we got our first pristine. That's pretty cool. Nice 1 of 1 there. Not particularly valuable. Those press pass 1 of 1s are fairly cheap, but that's pretty cool to get in a pristine 10. So here's another Oscar. And this is the rose gold refractor. I actually got a 9.5. That's pretty good. That one I thought had a couple nicks on the front. So here's the NECA Agumake. This is the white prism number to 99. And that is also a 9.5. These are just cheap PC cards. The first Sunni sticker. Let's see how we did. So the first foil got a 7. I'm gonna set that over here. So there should be a few foils and a few base stickers. Sick. All right, so that foil got a 10. That's awesome. So that's gonna go really good in the display. I was not expecting that, but I was hoping for like a couple of 9s and not just get hammered on these. And the last foil got an 8.5. I think there's only 3 foils, maybe 4. I don't know. So the first base sticker that's a 9. So we have at least a 9 and a 10 that can display by each other. Next sticker got a 9.5. I like that. You wouldn't be able to sneak me one matching 10 in here, would you? Certainly not on that 7.5. And this looks to be our last shot. And this one got a 6. Probably deservingly so. The center does not look good on that one. I knew one of them was not ideal. Kind of present next to each other like so. The foil in the base. That's pretty cool looking. I would love to get this one in a 10 someday. Go through our last couple of Bectons. This blue got a 9. I think the other blue had a 9 or 9.5s. This is a 1 of 1. Does not have the golds. We know it's not a pristine. Let's see what the black 1 of 1 got.
The arm motion. Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, nice. That's really going to help the rainbow out. So we got the 10 on the 101. And I know we had 2 greens in here. It'd be really nice to get one of those in a high grade too. Here's the first green, number to 5. And that, nice. I got a 9.5. Here is the second green. And that got a 9. So nothing wrong with that. Both got decent grades, and I don't know how much you could really upgrade a number to 5 card. Here's the gold disco, numbered to 10. That is a 9. Here is the cosmic and an 8.5. That one, I would have really loved to have got like a 9.5 or better. Unfortunately, like I know that it was condition sensitive. It was not in the, had a lot of roller marks on the back, and that was one I was wishing a little bit. Ooh, Dragon Scale on 10, that's nice. I think these are numbered to 67. Dragon Scale on 10, very nice. Second Dragon Scale, 9.5. We'll take it. Wouldn't matter if I wouldn't. I'm stuck with it. All right. Here is the tie-dye, 9.5. It's a good looking card. Tie-dyes are pretty good looking. All right. And the last of the bulk order, a 9 on the blue disco. So that's the bulk order. Pretty pleased with it. I do believe we had a pretty tight grader, but that's okay. I wouldn't say they were like bad in any way. Everything was pretty much as expected. Got a handful of 10s on the Mackay Bectons, which I like, especially on the black and the Dragon Scale. That's really nice. Good chunk of 9.5s here, as you can see. We got a nice 9.5 and a 10 on the Suni Lee, pristine on the Cujo. Quick little recap there. I like that. Next, we are gonna, let's just look at the Reholders. These are pretty straightforward, low value. These are cards that were already in CSG holders. They're now moved to CGC holders. So we already got a peek at what the pristine ones look like because we saw Cujo. But we moved the Jalen Hurts over, and this is now a pristine 10 CGC logo. So that is nice. That is the first card I've ever pristine graded in any grading company. This is a Brett Favre action pack. This is a really nice example. If you look really close, like how tight that seam is right there, that's really tough to do. And a lot of times this fold, they won't line up. They'll be like, you can see there's a little white here, but sometimes it's really bad where they overlap. So this is a 10. It's a pretty nice example there. Those action packs are pretty tough to get in a 10. And the GOAT, Serena Williams. This card is moved from a CSG 10 to a CGC 10. We will look at the autos next, and then the crossovers last. The crossovers are the ones I'm excited for because those are where the bigger dollar cards are. So for the autos, you can see we've got CGC JSA labels back here. These are the first autos I've ever done since the JSA relationship. So we get to see how the dual grade labels look. And you can see it's got the Gem 10 on the auto, or excuse me, Gem 10 on the card, auto 8 down here. So in a previous video, I said SGC has nice looking labels with the big bold 10 and 10 when you have the 10 on the grade and the 10 on the auto. Nothing wrong with CGC, just I think that auto grade just doesn't present really well, but the card grade does. Maybe that's their intent, is not to take anything away from the card grade. Here's an Ernie Johnson. This is a Goodwin Champions. This is an on-card auto. This got a 9.5 with an auto 10, so that's pretty slick looking. That's nice. I'm just going to stack all the autos together here. Elijah Vera Tucker. This was, I believe, a Mosaic Black Laser or something, numbered to 10. This is the Gem Mint 10 on the card, auto 9. So would have been pretty cool to get a dual 10. Let's hope we get at least one in here. I want to see what it looks like. This is the Cheeto Moreno. Probably saw him in a previous mail day. This is a Goodwin Champions on-card auto. It's definitely a PC card for me. This is the Mint 9 Auto 9. It's a good looking card. Happy to have that one. We're going to run into a couple of Mekhi Becton autos. These are kind of sealed weird, but this number to 10 must be the gold. You can see the centering top to bottom is not ideal. Don't expect this card to gem, but we'll see. And it is an 8.5 on the card, auto 10. So the auto 10, just not the card. Here's the second gold. Oh, actually, I think this was the gold preview or something like that. No, this is a gold. And the same thing, 8.5 and a 10. So literally the same card. And that's okay. It would be nice to own all the golds one day. I don't know if that's possible, but all right. Here's the next Mekhi Becton. This is a 9.5 with an auto 10. So this one got a nice dual grade. We still haven't seen a 10-10. We've seen an auto 10 and we've seen a card graded 10, but we haven't seen them line up together. Here is the Near Mint 8 with an auto 10 on the red. And Near Mint plus 8.5 with the auto 10. This is on the purple shock auto. All right. Here's the green numbered to 5. Oh, nice. And this one somehow got the dual 10. Like, this is clearly OC. I'm not really sure what happened. I mean, I'll take it, but it's just like, you can tell by looking at it, like it's way thicker over here. So of all things to get loose on, I guess that's good, but at the same time, what the heck? Here's an Oscar. This is one of the Topps Heritage autos. This is the blue. This got a Near Mint 7 with an auto 7. I expect these autos will not grade well, and we're looking for the cards on this one. Here's another Oscar. Here's another blue. And this one got a 9.5 with an auto 7. So this is a nice, very clean card. Centering did this one, and you can tell it's pretty thin down here and on this side, but we'll take the 9.5 for sure. This must be the Oscar green. This one got a 7 with an auto 7. And one more green, I believe. Ooh, Gem Mint 10 with an auto 8. So that's nice and clean. It's a very good example here. So we got a 9.5 and a 10. Those are nice parallels for the rainbow for sure. I think the last couple of these are going to be DeBrickashaw Ferguson's. And DeBrickashaw here got a 7.5. And this was the one, if you remember in the preview, had the foil loss down here. So the 7.5 is not a shock. The 9 auto kind of is. It's, I don't know. It's a pretty good auto. Pretty clean on card. And lastly, this is the, I believe this was the Longevity Silver hollow foil. This was Mint 9 Auto 9. A good looking card, but 9 on the auto. So it looks like they're pretty strict on their auto grades, which I'm fine with that. Again, pleased with that order. No shocks here. Everything is good. Going to hop into the final and fourth submission of the video, rip through these cards real quick and give you my final thoughts. So here's a Mekhi Becton. This card crossed over from a 10 SGC. The fact that it is now in a CGC holder tells me they crossed it over and it would have had a 10 if it didn't meet the criteria. Like, if I can tell the bottom card here is not holdered, which tells me it did not meet the criteria. So we'll get to see what he looks like in his new slab here. And it looks pretty good. The Mekhi Becton, cheap card and a 10. I definitely spent more playing around with that than it will ever sell for. The Barry Bonds, I'm happy this crossed over. This was a really clean copy, other than the centering wasn't perfect, but like these Donners with the black borders are really tough. All the chipping shows, but this one had like no chipping. Like if we get in on it, like it is a clean cut. Really nice card. Like to have this in a 10. Barry Bonds is probably one of my all-time faves. If you've watched the channel or even watched my very first video where I talk about I don't give a crap what accusations he had, he's the best player I've ever seen. So, Kirby Puckett, 84 Fleer. Always wanted this card in a Gem Mint. I bought the Beckett 9.5 kind of on the back side of the boom, so I didn't pay like big money, but I want to say it was like maybe $750 or something like that. So, got this one in the CGC 10. This will be a forever card. Love Kirby here in Minnesota. Can't get better than 10. So we got a nice clean card here. Absolutely stoked to have that one. It's like in its final form. I'm not going to ever have to search for a better version of it unless I start playing around buying factory update sets, trying to screw around with getting a PSA 10. Really happy this crossed. Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie. Boom. That always looks good with the 10 in there. The BGS 9.5 was cute, but this is a good looking card. Really happy to have that one. Dead centered. Holograms nice and centered. I mean, this is a good, clean copy. So here's the one card that did not cross, and I'm not shocked. Again, in the preview video, I point out there's a lot of chipping up here. I would assume the edges had a 9, and they're probably just saying this had too much chipping for us to put our label on here. So it looks like they left their little cheat sheet. It says crack all. Okay. So yep, it says below min grade. If you want to see there, they left their little report card on there, and looks like they marked Y. Looks like there's some front centering left to right, and then they marked back chipping. You can kind of see they squiggle it in there. So centered actually don't look too bad, but they also dinged like looks like a corner, front corner maybe. Yeah, you can see some whitening up there too. It's kind of a weak 9.5 from Beckett, but that is the submissions, the 4 submissions, and I'm overall very pleased. And I kind of explained early in the video, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, that I was somewhat in pouting time with CGC, and I was submitting these right before my membership renewed. I had $150 of membership credits to burn up, so I did apply those here. This is not something I was sending in for profit. This is something I was sending in to test the waters at CGC, get my cards brought current on labels, kind of update my rainbows, update my skybox set, that sort of thing, and kind of rotate some bad stuff out, or just update my progress so I could essentially update the list of stuff that I need to continue looking for and stuff that I no longer need to look for. So that's really the thought process behind this. And then it's just getting all these little cards I bought off eBay here and there, these little autos and stuff here, the numbered autos for my collection. I just like to preserve them, get them all matching, get them all stored away. So I believe I accomplished that. Pretty happy with it overall. And we'll just take a look at like one of these cards here. We'll just go with this guy here. All right, so CGC, the reason I do this is not for profit, but they are my favorite slab in the business. If you can see, they're very clear. You can see how reflective it is. And it's hard to explain until you have one in your hand. So I would advise you, if you're curious about this, if you're seeing me put money into this and you're going, you're an absolute buffoon, why would you do that? I would say just get one in your hand and hold it. They're nice and like sturdy. They're not heavy, but you could just tell like they're good acrylics. They look nice. Their label to me is not offensive. I would say it's right in the middle. I don't think it's the best label in the business. I don't think it's the worst. I think personally, I like Beckett's gold label. I think it looks great. It's just it matches. Gold and black goes good with everything pretty much, especially like cards where like people tend to gravitate towards gold parallels and black parallels more than any of the other colors. To me, the Beckett just is an all-timer. You can see it. You know who it is right away. After that, probably SGC. I actually like their very simple like bold and black on white. It is a nice, non-offensive color scheme. Black and white goes with everything. Then I would say like CGC comes into play, and then honestly I think PSA's labels last. Even though it's the most identifiable, it doesn't do much for me, and unless you get somebody that's in a like the like Cincinnati Reds or something, it doesn't really color match anybody either. So it's very recognizable. Like they've got that part out of it. Like when you see that label, you know basically white and red, that's PSA. You know exactly who it is, and you can tell the people that copy it that just look a little off. It looks like a cheap PSA, so to speak. So anyway, this isn't a video about labels, but it's part of the reason why I chose CGC and why I also believe in them for the long term. I believe primarily, obviously, or maybe it's not obvious to everybody, but PSA's in it for the long haul. They've got money backing them. They're the industry leader. They're just running over everybody right now. Their parent company also owns SGC, which to me is a little bit of a concern. Now, I'm using them in the videos and I'm pumping them, and I'm telling you they're great, and I believe in their product. That being said, there is some concern there. Now, I've been in business for quite a while, and I've been through acquisitions, and this is no different than anything else. There's an acquisition, you're going to tell your people everything's fine, we're going to operate how we do, and while that's happening, the parent company's in the background learning your accounting, learning your processes. They're converting you over to like their payroll system, your benefits, your procedures, your handbook, your HR, all this stuff, and it's a slow process. But typically around that 2 to 3 year mark is where you really see change come in. You don't acquire a company and just leave it alone. You're looking to make money. And I think we're starting to see that now, where SGC's turn times are going. We haven't seen Peter in a long time. And I would be shocked if by the end of 2026, they're still around as we know them. My theory, and I have absolutely no insight to this, I have no connections at any place, and I'm definitely not an expert in card grading company acquisitions, but just being through what I've been through and seeing what both companies are doing with specials and stuff like that, I wouldn't be shocked if like SGC becomes the bulk service company, the cheap grading company. I think PSA really wants to separate themselves further as like the premium company. I think in a couple of years, some of those big cards in the old SGC tuxedos, they're going to want those in PSA holders. They already do, but that's going to give them the incentive to do it, as if they say, hey, we're eliminating this brand as you know it. It's just going to be PSA Center number 3. They've got their California, they got their New Jersey, and now they're going to have their Florida. And when you complete bulk orders, they're just going to say ship it to Florida. And they'll have that staffed on there, and they'll have them do what they do. They'll grade accurately, they'll grade quickly, they'll do all that good stuff, and they'll be able to offer the bulk pricing and all that good stuff. That would be my theory of what's going to happen. Try to integrate everything in as much as possible. I don't know what that does. If it happens to old SGC cards, I think they'll hold their value initially, and then over time it'll wind up like other companies that were big at one point and then are no longer around, like the Gem Mints and people like that, which were able to sell for competitive prices back in like 2005, 2010, and now they're just like raw cards essentially. I don't know that SGC would necessarily drop that far, because they're not going away because they sucked. They're not going away because they didn't do stuff correctly. They would probably be going away just out of a merger, and the bigger company is just the dominant company of the two. That's really it. So I don't think, at least initially, they would just plummet in value. But to me, it's something where I don't want to have a lot of my collection, really any of it, to be honest with you, in those holders in about the next year or two. I'm still using it now to grade cards quickly and sell them, and they're holding value. And I could be absolutely wrong. I could be dead wrong, but I just don't see how it continues to operate the way it is. I also, when PSA backed up, if you really look at the gem rate numbers that people like Neo post and stuff like that, SGCs, for their turn time to double, you would think the stuff that they're taking in or they're grading or whatever would double, and the numbers don't necessarily reflect that, at least yet, which I don't want to go complete conspiracy, but that tells me they probably got the phone call of, hey, you don't make the parent company look bad here, you're going to have to toss the anchor out and slow down a little bit too. Again, I could very much be wrong there, but I think if they keep cranking stuff out in 5 to 10 days, parent companies out there, if you submit today, you're not going to get it back until preseason of football. It's not going to look good if they're trying to phase them out. So I believe they just got phoned in and said, yeah, you're going to do this too. It could also be a combination of things with the acquisition. What I mean by that is the old SGC, they had service over everything. It's a good model, but there's that old model that you could have great service, max profit, and like good culture, good morale. You can only have 2 of the 3. And that was an old thing I remembered from school and in businesses. It's the people that try to be elite at all 3 that get caught kind of plugging the holes all the time. Is like you go to fix one and then the other one's failing and so on. You kind of have to pick your poison and say, PSA at this point, like if they want to have max profit and good service, their people are not going to be very happy. So if you're trying to keep your culture good and you're trying to maximize profit, your service is going to drop. And I think that's what we're seeing. SGC probably was told, hey, you're not going to work overtime to keep these times like this. We need better margins. We need good margins. And that's where you see less deals. That's where you see the $15 grading. And if that bumps your turn times up, it bumps your turn times up. And I believe from the outside looking in and just knowing what I do know about business, that's probably what's going on. I believe 2 years ago, we would have seen Peter step in and probably maybe hire some extra people. You would probably spend a little more on payroll, offer overtime to guys, something like that. Do whatever it takes to where the customers don't notice the bump in work, so to speak. You got They're a business. They're looking to make money. They don't make an acquisition like that to come in and tread water or do worse. So I'm sure that's what we're seeing. And it is what it is, and we'll just have to see how it plays out. Didn't mean to kind of drop a negative turd here at the end of the video, but that's kind of reining back in why I went in that direction. This wasn't meant to be a video about SGC's future, but it is a video about why I believe in CGC for the long term. Is they're an established company, they're big in comics, and they're big in TCG cards already. They're struggling admittedly in sports cards. The cards do not sell, and they just don't have a big presence there. If SGC goes away, there's always going to be room for competition in a number two. I don't think everybody that loves SGC is just going to instantly just get in bed with PSA. There's going to be people that are probably pissed about that. A lot of the people that are using alternate companies probably had a bad experience with PSA and they're just not going to go there. So that tells me there's room for a number two. I think CGC has a lot of upside. They have a good job. They've got a good system built out. They just need to get a little traction. And I'm kind of in the early stages of buying into that. I could be way, way wrong. We could see something completely reasonable happen, like Fanatics buys Beckett, and all of a sudden Beckett's instantly number two. And I could be stuck here with all these holders just whatever, but it is what it is. Either way, I'm not like banking on these gaining value. I'm just saying I believe they're going to be around for a while, and I like the holders more than any other slab in the business, so it kind of works good for me that way. But that's pretty much it. Rant aside, why I like CGC, why I've used them. They've always had good service. They've done everything right for me in the history, I guess. They send surveys out repeatedly, want to know like how you liked your service, how do you like their labels, where do you rate them. They're very cognizant of what their customers want, or at least they're asking the right things. Whether they're doing everything everybody wants is another question, or I guess another day, another dollar, whatever you want to call it. So that's the video. CGC is the first time I've had them on the channel here in any capacity. Really pleased with the grading, as I said. I made it this far. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the OGs of the channel and all the new subscribers recently. Channel's been growing nice lately, and I really appreciate that. Makes me want to just keep recording and putting stuff out for you. So anything you could do to help, like, comment, subscribe, always appreciated. And until next time, we will see you.